All hail the mighty silver bugs. These are simply gold bugs amped up on argentine steroids. Source Michael Ballinger. Precious metals expert Michael Ballinger examines silver's recent moves upwards. In my business, there's a great deal of travel, be it to properties in the Peruvian Andes or the Canadian Yukon or the investment conference in New Orleans or San Francisco or London, so I get a full psychographic cross-section of every type of investor imaginable. First of all, the audience I have encountered at the Sound Money conferences in Nassau or Bermuda are usually quite conservative and usually well-dressed and well-groomed. When the topic is gold and it is a controversial speaker looking for the end of the Western civilization, the audiences tend to be a tad different, with hair length and dress code noticeably more avant-garde. However, when the topic is confined to silver, while the speakers tend to be evangelical and the audiences appear to be, operative word being appear, simply stark raving madmen of the first order, they usually dress in military fatigues. The males are all in ponytails, the women weigh more than the men, and the t-shirts and baseball caps on both males and females carry logos from either the WWF or the monster truck conventions. However, they are usually quite erudite when discussing survival techniques. They're usually extremely well educated, and they are all able to rhyme off the silver production numbers for the past 20 years by country, and most importantly, they carry high disdain for anyone who fails to know these facts. These are simply gold bugs amped up on Argentine steroids, and I happen to have an extremely high regard for them as they represent the fringe movement. The silver bugs would charge the Federal Reserve building in New York minute. They would canonize WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange if allowed. They would vote for Ron Paul 40 years after his passing, and they would wear Edward Snowden t-shirts around the local shopping mart. They can usually recite the Declaration of Independence in its entirety and consider themselves true patriots. They view silver as the only real money on the planet and normally hold over half of their net worth outside the banking system in the form of silver. While residing in remote parts of Idaho or Wyoming, usually in the mountains, when I have given speeches or lectures over the years, I can usually pick them out in any crowd. They rarely smile and never laugh at anything I have said, which may or may not be seen as abnormal. Now, you will of course forgive the stereotyping, but that is simply and purely my blanket view of silver bugs. Irrespective of whether the silver aficionados laugh or not, and they don't, they are certainly smiling lately, as I am, as there is something immensely gratifying about a prediction that turns out to be both correct and timely. Usually it's difficult to pick the right direction, let alone the right timing. Thankfully, my decision to buy silver immediately rather than wait for the inevitable correction in the Huey NYSE ARCA Gold Bugs Index has worked well and has moved from 1520 on March 31 to today's high of 1711, a gain of 12.5% in just under 3 weeks. It surely did not hurt that Deutsche Bank was forced to settle a massive price rigging conspiracy and implicate both Scotiabank and HSBC in the process. But silver looked like it was going to pop long before the massive silver fraud was revealed. As we discussed back in late March, short, shorting the gold to silver ratio at Eddy looked like it could turn out to be the 2016 trade of the year, but little did I expect that the move would occur without a breakout or breakdown move in gold. As it stands, gold is still locked in at that 1210 to 1287 trading range that has shackled it since the 1st of April. But silver, by contrast, has been a standout performer since that day. The new recovery high seen today in silver is a big positive over the near term and bodes well for the ultimate test of 1850, with the strong likelihood that silver is leading gold to what will be an upside resolution to this sideways correction. The gold to silver ratio was originally recommended north of 80. To a coin phrase, there's no fever like gold fever, but there's even better, there's no mania like silver mania. And now that silver appears to have finally shed the bullion bank shackles, it could easily see how the low 20s within a few months. I was thinking of buying a fistful of long-dated calls on Pan America Silver Core, but I decided to buy only a few while instead putting more of the cash into a private junior silver company called Santa Rosa Silver Mining Corp. At 5 cents a share. In that time frame, Pan America Silver had advanced from 10.82 to $14, with the July 10 calls advancing from $1.65 to $4. So as much as I fashion myself as a metals expert, I should have opened up the wallet and bought the Pan America calls as well, leaving better than a double on the table hurts, despite the fact that the GDXJ Market Vectors Junior Gold Miners position has better than doubled since January 19th. The GDXJ has been on one wicked tear since mid-January, and we all know how ridiculously undervalued the miners became in the latter half of 2015 and early 2016. Relative strength index readings above 70 have always been associated with tops in any and all markets that I have followed. Accordingly, I should be taking profits in the GDXJ, but I have decided to refrain and ride the trend instead. It may be madness and it may be greed, but I simply must hang on for dear life and pray that the golden bull doesn't throw me in the ditch and my net worth with it. Now, with silver up another 1.17% this morning, I feel like Robert Duvall in Apocalypse Now, because I just love the smell of I just love the smell of incinerated silver shorts in the morning. As I wrote about back in December, with gold soaring, starting to rally, it feels like these days, and silver feels as though it will be in the 20s sooner than one might imagine. I sure hope so. I hope it's in the 20s before our giveaway on the 30th. Anyways, take care, keep stacking.